You know, Maya, I loved your op-ed piece. You've done some of the digging, and that's why we try to play it straight down the middle, because everybody wants to blame the other guys. The reality is, no matter who's in the White House come next January, both parties' proposals are going to continue to balloon federal debt to well over 100% of GDP.
They sure are, and there is not even a suggestion from any of the campaigns at this point of what they would actually do to get the debt under control. And let me kind of anchor the discussion, because in the op-ed, we sort of look back at what happened over the last presidential term. The debt isn't the urgent issue of the moment, right? What happened is we had a very strong economy, and yet the Congress passed and the president signed into law really about $4 trillion in new borrowing from tax cuts and spending increases at exactly the time we should have been bringing down the debt. So we were really reckless when the party was good, things were going well. That meant we entered this moment of a huge crisis that we couldn't have expected would look like this, but we certainly could have expected something would come along. And we were already over indebted just at a time where we need to be borrowing a lot to fight the pandemic and the recession. So we are in no way saying we should stop borrowing now. We actually do need to put more money into the economy. But once we get through this, whoever the next president is inheriting a situation where they first have to deal with an economic crisis, then quickly have to pivot and deal with a huge national debt challenge, because that debt is going to be growing faster than the economy every single year, and it's going to be squeezing out other parts of the budget when both candidates have a whole lot of plans of things that they want to do and not nearly as much detail on how they would offset the cost. So in the end, both of them are talking about adding trillions more to the national debt.
Although I will say these are not your grandfather's trillions, Maya. I mean, you know, Grandpa borrowed at 10%, had to put the family farm up. Now we're borrowing at, 0.7%. Interest rates and low rates, likely for a long time, do have to play a role in this. I mean, the numbers are a lot more manageable with low rates.
It's an excellent point, because all the reasons we used to worry about debt so much, one of the leading ones was it will push interest rates up. That clearly has not happened. And moreover, it's really unlikely that interest rates are going to go up anytime soon. They're probably going to be quite low and artificially in some way. So that almost enables more borrowing. But I think a lot of times people confuse very low interest rates with paying for things as free. All my friends are buying Pelotons right now. It's because there's zero financing. You don't pay for a while, but you still have to pay for the cost of that. So if we're talking about a $2 trillion infrastructure bill or another $1 trillion on healthcare, just because the time value of money is such that it doesn't mean you have to pay a lot of additional costs for borrowing for that, you still have to pay the actual ticket for the item. And either we finance that by cutting spending, raising taxes, or borrowing from our kids. And I know that's oversimplifying, but like you said, it's early in the morning. We keep making the choice that instead of offsetting any of those costs ourselves through different budgetary choices, we're going to push the choices into the future. And that's not for economic reasons. It's what you said. It is for political reasons, that neither party is interested in doing the really hard work of how would you pay for something, what would you have less of, or who would pay more in taxes. And so in the end, we finance it. And that is why we have a near record level debt that is likely to exceed 100% of the economy next year, and bodes really poorly for the future economic environment that we're going to be working in at a time where we have a lot of competition with other countries around the world, where we have a lot of challenges domestically, and you don't want to go into those moments already overextended.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.